Okay, here we see a 2008 Mercedes-Benz AMG S65, and this has the V12 twin turbocharged or bi-turbo engine. Now, it comes to us with a cylinder misfire. Now, as we look at the engine, of course, obviously we see the oil filter housing, and here, of course, is where we add oil. This has a type of air injection system there to kind of warm up the catalyst and control carbon monoxide hydrocarbon emissions there at starting. And of course, here is the air intake, and this is one of the air cleaners. Now, from the air cleaner, we're actually going down to the inlet of the compressor of the turbocharger, which is mounted right there to the exhaust manifold, or part of the exhaust manifold. It's kind of integral with it. Here we see the discharge of the compressor, and it's going to actually go through this aftercooler, and it has its own separate cooling system. It has its own separate circulator pump, its own separate radiator out front, and what it's trying to do is bring the temperature of that air back down to increase its density. And then here we see the throttle body, and you'll notice that I have a common throttle valve, but I have obviously two banks of 6 cylinders each, and each one, of course, has its own air cleaner, its own turbocharger, its own aftercooler. Now, this is actually a speed density system, so we see the I guess this would be the charge air temperature sensor. This is not the manifold absolute pressure sensor. The manifold absolute pressure sensor is right here. There we see that. So it's a manifold absolute pressure sensor, but I have a variety of pressure sensors. I have a pressure sensor there at the air cleaner, and then there after the compressor in the heat exchanger, and then of course beyond the throttle there in the intake manifold. Now, this is actually the power supply for our ignition systems, and this is our electronically controlled ignition, our ECI ignition, and this power supply steps up 12 volts to a higher voltage for the working voltage of our ignition system. And I actually have 2 spark plugs per cylinder, so I actually have 24 spark plugs on this 12-cylinder engine. Now, it's real obvious that this has been replaced in the life of the vehicle, and it looks like the left side ignition module and ignition coils has been replaced. The right side looks like original equipment, and as I'm taking this apart, it appears that it has never been taken apart before, because I have critical wire ties on critical vacuum lines, vent hoses, etc. So this looks like it has never been removed before. Now, while we removing this, we have a hard misfire on cylinder number 5, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here, 5th one back on the right side is number 5. So we're working to take that off, and we'll be checking that out. Now, this vehicle has over 100,000 miles on it. It is very clean, very well kept. Body is in excellent condition. Interior is immaculate. So certainly this is going to be a very desirable car if we can get it to hit on all 12 cylinders.